Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Our great friend, Tyler Nathan, the Director of Marketing at TBF Jupiter Warranty Management, is with us. Warranty has never been more important to the dealer body than it is today. Tyler, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
It's good to be here, Ted. Thanks for having us.
Great to have you. Warranty is top of mind as I travel around the country, Tyler, and I know you've been on the move as well. I hear dealers talking about it all the time. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market. There has been so far this first half of the year. And I don't know if you want to speak to that or not, but you really give the dealer an edge, an advantage in your people first approach.
Yeah, absolutely. The neat thing about our program is that it's always the right size. So we even our pricing adjusts based on the dealer's volume. So if a dealer, it's not a flat percentage where, when dealers do amazingly well, their price isn't going to get extremely out of control. It adjusts based on that size, but it's flexible. And that really helps because although we're excited about the future, and we think that there's going to be some great opportunities here going forward as far as growth for the U.S. Anytime the market can swing. We've seen. I've been doing this now for 30 years since. This November it'll be 30 years that I started working with dealerships and helping them with warranty administration. And during that time, I've seen many changes. From 9/11 to to COVID. And things that just nobody can predict. Nobody has a crystal ball. And the great thing about our service is that dealerships that utilize it during these times, these swings, they always have the right amount of service. And in other words, the cost adjusts as well. Where if you have an employee, you have that fixed expense, and you're either trying to figure out, do we need to cut somebody? Do we need to try to cut hours back? And a lot of times those folks aren't going to cut their own hours. And sometimes you can end up losing good people over it. And so having a flexible solution during any economy is always a good plan.
And I want to talk to you a little bit about things such as communication that are a big part of warranty administration. But first, let me go back to the traditional warranty administrator's office. Even today, Tyler, when I walk into a dealership and you see those stack of ROs, I mean, that's a stack of money, okay, that has yet to be received. And, if the person who handles the warranty is out that day or out that week, okay, or calls in sick or is on vacation, a lot of times that's waiting, and that's a lot of money to the dealership. And, there's a lot of things at stake, including urgency, if you want to speak to that as well and how you help with that.
Yes, sir. So cash flow, everybody in business has to maintain, not only profitability, but cash flow. And having that available so that you can react to markets is very important as well. And swings in warranty is huge. I mean, most dealerships now are, if ran properly, are 100% run service absorption. In other words, service is paying for the building, the facility, and the majority of their fixed expenses. And when you take that 60%, up to 60%, some, even up to 70%, depending on the OEM, it could be, between 30 and 70% of their revenue is coming from warranty. That's a huge amount of your income, that the dealership's income is tied up. And if you have that tied up just for a couple of weeks, that can have ramifications into what the dealership can do. And so one of the things about us is we obviously provide a consistent, reliable solution. We have 180 employees now. Yeah, and so we're able to adjust and move things around. If we have an employee that's tied up because they're taking a vacation, we have somebody else in that make that can fill in and do that line. And the way we have a team approach of handling the dealership's services anyway. So the dealers with our company get a warranty administrator. They also get a schedules statements person, and they also get somebody who can help them post the payments. And so in our case, when somebody is absent, it's usually only a portion of that piece of the team that's out, and we have somebody else fill in who also does that position. So
if I'm a dealer, I want to be able to speak to a person who's helping to handle my receivables. Dealers are hearing a lot about things like AI in other parts of the business now. Okay. If you want to speak to that, you know, myself, I want to make sure that somebody's looking it over and making sure that it's right, before that's gone ahead and, given to the OEM. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of misinformation, if you will, about AI. I mean, AI, it's a buzzword. I mean, AI is in everything. We're hearing about how it's going to take over everybody's job and do all this stuff, and there's no doubt that someday maybe it will. But the point is, right now, there's two different. I think people need to determine between the buzzword like AI and what a lot of people think AI is, which is, or at least what is out there mostly, and that's kind of like an AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, which is more where the computer is actually thinking like a human. In our case, I think what is seen in the marketplace is mostly just automation. And the problem with automation in this business is that you have multiple different DMS systems and multiple different OEMs, and all the OEMs have their particular rules. And then you have what's added some nuance to it is you have different states like that handle labor differently and parts differently and so forth. Like New York law just recently passed a new law about labor rates, and Illinois is in that situation, but there's a slightly different, and same with Minnesota and Wyoming. So there's many states out there that have different things at play that the consultant needs to take into consideration. And that's, our people are just like a CPA. I mean, you would never think about turning your accounting over to an automation system where there isn't a human watching and paying attention to every one of those, every advantage they can get for you. And so our folks, we use the best of the computer systems available. Our people are experienced, skilled, trained, and career-minded administrators. And the quality that are in these people is just as high as any CPA that you might get in accounting.
180 people, Tyler. Congratulations. And these are experts. Okay. If I have a Ford franchise or I have a General Motors franchise, Honda, you've got people who specialize in that, and you make sure that those are the people who handle the warranty for those dealers. If you want to speak to some of that, because I think that's important.
Yes, absolutely. We've learned a long time ago that that it is true, those sayings of a jack of all trades is a master of none, and so we don't have jacks of all trades here. We find generally what we do is we find skilled warranty admins in the field who've worked at a dealership for many years. Maybe they did do multiple lines. We'll bring them on and usually we'll load them up with a single line. Some of them, if they're real capable of multilingual, if you will, we might have them do another line. But we don't have any masters or any jacks of all trades. We have all masters in the business, and so that's very different. And so sometimes that's why it's always better to be proactive. If you're a dealer and you're listening to this and you think, I might have a warranty issue coming up, maybe I've got somebody who's getting ready to retire or something like that, don't wait till the last minute. Call us now, because here's the thing, you're always going to get a skilled warranty administrator with us. If you call us and we're already running overtime in that particular make, we're never going to just take somebody from another make and say, hey, figure this other OEM out. We're just not going to do that. You're going to get a skilled warranty admin with a lot of experience. And sometimes that means you might have to wait to get in. And if you're without an admin, you know how long you can wait. It's not very long at all. So it's best to be proactive, work with us, and you'll find that it's a better process anyway. So many dealerships are finding out that it's more efficient. We can save them money over processing claims in-house. So even if you have a system that's pretty good, you should consider this and take a look, see what we can do for you.
Tyler, I would think that once a dealer comes alongside a company like Jupiter Warranty Management, once they find out what you can do for them, they tend to stick with you and stay with you. Okay. I don't see them gravitating back, okay, to hiring the warranty administrator. Once they get a taste of the secret sauce, if you will, of the work that you do with your team, they stay. Am I correct in that?
Yes, Ted, you're correct. there are one of the reasons that we come out to the store and do the installation inside on site was that there was a time where dealerships would bring it in, and sometimes they couldn't, they didn't implement it right. So a lot of having an outside service, and if you're a dealer again listening to this and you've tried using an outside service and you felt it was cumbersome and took maybe more time, and maybe the service manager spent too much time at his desk responding to the warranty company, that's what we help with. Why we come out to the store, we spend a day at the dealership, really helping your service department put it in and put in the communication properly, and talk to your team, make sure everybody's on board, so that communication is key. And as long as that's in place, your service management's able to manage that information, and the quality of your tickets get better using the service, because it creates accountability within your team. So information gets relayed back to the technician who wrote, who worked on the vehicle, and of course the advisor who wrote up the ticket and also is overseeing the ticket. And when you get better quality work out of them, it helps with the warranty administration. And again, so our team provides that accountability.
So Tyler, let's dig into that, if you will, a little bit. I know the communication is a big part, and the on-site that you deliver as well, the on-site training at Jupiter Warranty. When you come into the store, who do you typically work with? You mentioned the service advisor. Is it the techs as well, because they're a big part of the communication, making sure that punch times and so on are accurate? Kind of walk us through that. Tell us what to expect from a dealer.
Yeah, absolutely. So we first off, the dealership usually contacts us. We like to, if we have a couple of weeks before we can get out there, that's always best, so we can plan. And when we show up that day, we're there at about 8:30 in the morning, and we're going to meet primarily with service management for the first hour and a half. Then usually we have a recap meeting with general management. So we would have the controller, the general manager, and service management, maybe the parts manager in there, and just kind of go over all the process to make sure everybody's got it down well. Then we're going to meet with your advisors and talk to half your advisors, preferably, get them aware of what they need to do in the tickets and how they're to respond if we have requests. And then finally, we're going to usually do a lunch meeting with all your techs and the remaining advisors, where we're going to do a deep dive into how to clock separately for straight time, how to write that in their story. Because here's the thing, no matter who you have processing your claims, if they don't do some of their part properly, we're not able to collect the maximum that we should be able to collect on the tickets. And so there is always this training element to it. And that's a big important piece, because so many times technicians aren't aware that, how to use the clock properly when it comes to diag time. Some people refer to OLH, M time, straight time, X time. It depends on the OEM what they refer to it as, but it's all the same stuff. If you handle it properly on the write up and the clocking, we can do amazing work with it.
And I would imagine, going back to what you said earlier, the DMSs, you have great experience working with all the DMS companies and the ins and outs of them. Speak to that, because that's a big component of the people part of your business, I think, as well.
Yeah, there hasn't been an OEM, or I'm sorry, a DMS that we haven't been able to crack, or an OEM for that matter. But the DMS systems, we basically we connect all of them. I mean, we're some of the ones that all the systems we're able to get into. We have an IT department that's amazing, and we're able to work with the management there and on location and get connections. And sometimes it's VPNs, sometimes it's remote desktop applications. We always find a way that we can get in, we can close the tickets for you, we can book them. And that's another big help is the booking of the claims. Sometimes dealerships still will book them to be quick and efficient there, but we're fast anyway. We're maybe within a half a day or so, we'll have the claims booked to a day. So what we do is we'll book those claims and get them in the system, and that helps take some pressure off of your flat rate technicians, so that they're not sitting there. There's a lot of cost in having your technicians look up labor time, and that can be a whole subject on its own.
So you help the dealers keep those warranty schedules, keep them clean, I would imagine. And speak to us about compliance, because dealers are hearing a lot of things about compliance, especially these last few years. Is this compliant, and how do you handle that?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, we're looking at all the information electronically. So if we're seeing weakness in the story, if we see parts that aren't charged out properly, we're going to stop the bus, if you will, and we're going to bring that to the advisor's attention, and we're going to set it up so management, it's easy for management to oversee it. And the advisor then simply makes the correction and responds to us, and that creates that accountability I was talking to you about, where we don't, instead of having the manager become a warranty assistant and correcting these things, you have this this advisor who's working with us, and we're increasing their knowledge as we work with them. And when you think about it, we know that advisors are the salespeople of the service department, but just like the salespeople on the front end, if they can't turn in deals that aren't complete, and so we're going to help create that accountability so it goes to the source so that they understand what a complete RO looks like and how that's turned in. And with management's help, it really is effective. So that's one part of it. And then the other part is we're going to do that training when we're meeting with the techs and advisors. We're not only going over good communication practices, we're also going over what the OEMs, we have specific, each OEM is a little different on the things that they care about. Many of them are very similar, but they all have their own unique things that they care about. And so we come out with specific handouts. We go over those in detail with everybody. That way everybody's aware of it. And then we set up somebody at the dealership, usually the manager or somebody that answers to the service manager. And then they do a simple quality check of the ticket, looking for things we don't normally see electronically, like, is the RO signed? Is there, an attachment like the VIN history attached to it? If there was an add-on repair, was that approved? Things like that. If management. So many times if we know managerial approval was required, we'll nudge them. We'll nudge them as we're processing the claims. But ultimately, the dealership does that quality check to make sure that stuff is there. And that's an easy thing to train somebody on. And a lot of times you can train somebody clerical on that task.
Tyler, I got to compliment you because over the last year or so, you've brought some pretty big names from retail on this show with you, dealers and dealer groups who are using Jupiter Warranty Management. And I've been impressed by that and some of the stories that they've told us. And it seems that when a group or a dealer comes with you, sometimes they don't come in all at once. They come in with a part of their group or a few stores or maybe even a single store. But Tyler, it seems you win them over, okay? And over time, you seem to get almost all, if not all, the stores. And as they add new stores, one of the first things they do, I've heard from this show, okay, that they add Jupiter as part of their onboarding. If you want to speak to that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We, since Scott founded the business in 1987, we have been growing. Our number one growth, I track it every year, is referrals. And within that group, what's changed over the past, I'd say probably 10 years, is that the biggest segment within referrals, because we even break that down, is group growth, right? So in other words, a group tries the service, right? And then they refer it to other dealerships within the group, and then it just grows. And we're growing with many groups right now, and some of the biggest names in the business, out there. So we're excited about that, and that's probably the best way to do it, because if sometimes if a top-down decision's made and said, hey, we're going to just put this in over all of our stores, sometimes it's nice to get that buy-in from the location and get them to understand fully the reasons why we're there to help them, so that we can get in and get 100%, because they've got to work with us in that communication. So it seems to work best that way. Put your toe in the water, and you'll find that it's definitely a comfortable swim.
And Tyler, with the complexity of vehicles continuing to grow, I don't see warranty as a percentage backing down anytime soon. It's continuing to grow and grow and grow, and the complexity continues to grow. And having a specialist really on the outside, not as a fixed expense, but as someone such as Jupiter Warranty Management, who specialize in that area, is a big advantage to a dealer who has you.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, that our being able to adjust to whatever market that's out there means that we're going to be the right size for you, no matter if you grow, if your local market takes off, if there's a recall that comes out and your volume doubles, or if things slow down a little bit for you for a time. It's we're going to be the right size always for you. We're going to give you that consistency and that reliability and be there. And another thing is we really free up your service management so that they can do what you need to have them do, which is really grow your business. I mean, if you really look at just service, I mean, a dealership has two businesses they're running, really. They're running, marketing and selling vehicles, and then they're running servicing and taking care of the vehicles on the backside. They're two totally independent businesses in and of themselves. And service is so complex with getting the right technicians, loading the shop, all of the things you want your management focused on to really bring your dealership to that next level. The last thing you need them to do is be tied up in a bunch of warranty administration, complexities, TSB manuals that, they're trying to figure out. And you can spend hours and hours. We've spent careers doing it. So certainly it's the right thing to do. And that's what I think is happening in the industry is more and more people are waking up to realizing that this is something that isn't part of their core growth perspective. It's something that has to happen and has to be reliable, or it can be the 800-pound gorilla that can take your lunch money, but it's never going to take you to that next step. You could focus all your energy on warranty, and if you give up on the customer, you're toast. Okay? Now take that the other way. If you do really well with the customer and stuff, sure, if you let warranties go out of date, you're toast. But hiring us, helping us back you up, doing that, getting that revenue paid for you, you're going to find is going to allow you to really grow your business.
Tyler Nathan, everybody, Director of Marketing at TBF Jupiter Warranty Management. Tyler, last question for today. As we look out over the balance of the year, here we are in early to mid-May, looking out over the balance of 2025. What's one thing you want to leave our dealers with? Okay, one thing that they need to be aware of, that they should be looking at in their business, because this is a very complex business when it comes to warranty. You've got all the bases covered there. But what's one thing that you'd want our audience to be looking at for the balance of the year and be aware of from your perspective?
I'd say don't fall for the hype. There's, like I said, there's a lot of hype out there. What you need is a partner who is going to be there consistently and reliably, who understands warranty inside and out. Just like a great accountant, we're going to be there. Our folks are career-minded. We're able to hire the best in the industry because of our space in the marketplace. We get resumes coming in every day. I mean, literally, we have thousands of resumes within a year. And it's just, it's amazing. That allows us to pick the best of the best and put them to work for you. So, just remember, all you have to do is visit our website and fill out the contact form, and we'll be in touch with you, and we can do an online presentation. We can talk about how we're going to interface directly with your DMS system, with your OEMs, and how we can improve your warranty situation. And that's the best thing to do. And then be proactive. Don't wait until the last minute. Although most of the time we can fit dealers in. So I don't want you to feel like, oh, you have an emergency, don't call. Absolutely. Most of the time it's not an issue, but it can be. So that's why it's always better to be proactive.
TBF Jupiter Warranty Management, everybody, a great partner in the industry, highly recommended by the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Tyler, if our audience has questions and want to reach out now, okay, is it possible they can do that? I see down below you've got the URL scrolling. There's a phone number on the screen as well. Can they reach out to you with questions that you'd answer for them?
Absolutely, and that's my cell phone that's scrolling across there. So you can leave me a voice message if I'm traveling or something. Right now, I've got a lot of travels, and I will get back to you, either myself or one of our representatives. And we also have, the website there, warrantymanaged.com. So you want your warranties managed. So definitely come there and visit and read some of the information there. There's a little video on there that's a great little explanation of the services too, within less than 4 minutes. And it's a great thing to forward to general managers or dealers that might be interested in the service, or you're trying to get interested in there. And then also fill out that contact form. And again, we'll be in touch very quickly and answer more questions.
Tyler Nathan, a great partner to the dealer, Jupiter Warranty Management, here with us today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thank you, Ted.